break the pattern, or the pattern breaks us.
Hello and greetings. This is Shane, the Salty Christian, bringing you a lightly salted Christian take on a cultural phenomenon, movie, and current events. In this case, we are off to the cinema. Even though this is episode 1, if you would like the opinion of a Christian on any topic or movie, please let me know and I'll gladly make a video about it. Today, let's review It Ends With Us, the movie. Last night, emotions were high. My wife and I went to see the new movie, It Ends With Us. The acting was phenomenal. I thought this movie was pretty good until one particular part. Let's talk about it. As I said before, Ends With Us was a pretty good movie. I went against my cardinal rule of not watching previews for movies. My wife and I frequent the movie theaters because I can get free tickets so we can watch whatever we want. Because of that, I end up watching a lot of movies, and I dislike it when I watch the trailer and end up predicting the whole movie. Well, nothing could prepare me for what I was about to experience. It Ends With Us. It stars Blake Lively, and the movie is extremely popular among women. It tells the story of a woman stopping the cycle. Oh wait, I forgot to do it. Spoiler alert. This whole take will include the spoilers. In order to adequately demonstrate my point, there's no other way. If you want to skip to my thoughts and opinions, there's a timestamp in the description box below. Anyways, back to what I was saying. This tells of a woman who wants to stop the cycle of harm in her family. Her mom was harmed by her father, and now she meets someone, likely a harmer. That word likely is critical in this context. They first meet on a rooftop where he exhibits some aggressive tendencies. Eventually, they part ways without exchanging information. Later on, through a series of fortunate events, they meet again, they agree to start dating, and everything is going well. Blake Lively's character expresses to him that her first love was a homeless boy in high school. One day, when they're out, she sees the once homeless teen, who we will call X, at one of the famous restaurants he runs. She then has a conversation with X, and he wants to meet up with her. Fast forward, the boyfriend ends up mistakenly hitting her while they're cooking in the kitchen. The scene is set as a reflex, but has a rather ominous feel. Later they return to the same restaurant where her first love was, and her ex demands that she leave her boyfriend because there was evidence of harm. However, they're both in the bathroom together. The boyfriend sees them leaving the bathroom together, and there's an altercation between the ex and boyfriend. The boyfriend sets clear boundaries, saying, if you want to be with me, please be with me, but if you want to be with him, be with him. Blake Lively's character assures him that he is the one for her. The ex stops by the next day to apologize, and he ends up putting his phone number in her phone case while she watches. Months go by, and the boyfriend drops her phone to discover the ex's number in the phone case. Upon calling it, he discovers that it's the ex's number and wishes to remove himself from the apartment. Blake Lively's character decides to pursue him, and upon the first review scene, she trips down the stairs. The last major incident was when all the supporting characters were proud that Blake's flower shop made the list as one of the top spots in Boston. But the problem was the ex's restaurant was number 1 on that list. He, the ex, said in an interview, Blake Lively's character inspired him and gave hints that he still had feelings for her. The boyfriend turned husband confronted her about the situation and asked her if she still loved her ex. She responded that she didn't know. He then flipped out and went over the top. He proceeded to bite her where the tattoo of her and her first love was. She then left and went to the ex's house. The story concludes with her putting her foot down and divorcing her husband and banishing him never to return. So, I'm going to give a salted Christian perspective on this video. I'm using A instead of the because I could be totally wrong, but based on what I know about the gospel, this is my perspective on this movie. One, the way they met was a little fishy. He proclaimed that he wanted to have sex with her within 10 minutes of meeting her. For her, that should have been a red flag to get out of there. Props to her, she did not exchange information with him when he had to leave. Two, their relationship was going fine until she got in contact with her ex. Once her and her ex came out of the bathroom together, the whole demeanor of the boyfriend changed. At that point, they should have seen premarital or just general counseling for the both of them to work out their issues. She should have let him go if she wanted to be with her first love. Three, she crossed the line when he found the number in her phone case. If the roles were reversed, that would be grounds for separation. She should not harbor feelings for another man while in relationship with him. His response was extremely unacceptable. However, there is a caveat. In the initial clip, it looks like she fell down the stairs. However, in the final clip, they show him pushing her down the stairs. I don't know if they're trying to say that he definitely pushed her down the stairs, but she didn't remember that until the final moments of the movie. I wonder if she remembered the issue differently or if that's what actually happened. But that being said, as a new parent, you are often advised to make sure your child is safe and walk away if you are upset with them. This advice is given to limit harm to the child. When he tried to remove himself, she pursued him and he acted inappropriately. The final straw was when he ultimately took the magazine article and blew it out of proportion. He held her down and bit her completely out of line. This question kept coming up. Here it is.
If one day you had a daughter,
What would you say to her?
she came to you and said the person she loved was hurting her,
What would you tell your daughter? Well, there is good news. I have a daughter who is 8 days old at the time of recording this video. I thought long and hard what I would tell her, knowing how God feels about divorce. Would I tell her to stay because God hates divorce? Or would I tell her to leave because her husband showed he can't be trusted? I think there's a middle ground. Here's what I would say to her. Upon that third incident, I would instruct her to move out immediately. I would also tell her to file for separation immediately. Her husband clearly has problems. However, due to the inception of the harm to her, I would also have her take accountability for being unfaithful to him. Overall, I would tell her not to divorce. I would tell her to separate from him. There's no way she can go back to living with him in those conditions. Then I would tell him to get an evaluation, find out his triggers and trauma, and he needs to spend the next 6 months working on them independently from her. Next, I would encourage them both to go to marriage counseling. This counselor obviously would be Christian and harshly determine if the marriage is salvageable. Lastly, because he was a neurosurgeon, in the event they reunite, a post-nuptial agreement will be put in place. This will ensure that if any harm occurred, she would have the financial ability to leave and be supported. In this particular case, I think divorce is a little too much. I could be totally wrong about this, and I don't want people to think I condone any harm to your partner. But the thing that I don't like is the idea of divorce when the relationship is salvageable. Not to mention when she was talking about the abuse and me with us because she's leaving her husband, I think that's almost an oxymoron. Children who are born in fatherless homes tend to be the ones who are victims of domestic harm more often. That being said, I agree with the spirit of the film, but I think for the Christian perspective, this film unfortunately promotes divorce as a quick way to solve a problem with a broken spouse. I think many people will say, is it your responsibility to fix a fractured spouse? My unpopular opinion is yes. There have been many times in my marriage where I have fell short and my wife has had to pick me up, and vice versa. That's my take. Please be respectful in the comment section, and if you think I'm wrong or if you think I got a point, please let me know. I'm up for changing my opinion, but I do feel like marriage is seen as disposable. Thank you for watching, and as always, like and subscribe for more of The Salted Christian. And as always, stay blessed.